Hey guys, Eevee Master Gaming here, back where I left off, because it's literally about 10 seconds later since I recorded the first video. Well, the second, well, yeah, you know what the fuck I mean. But here we go. Wait. Hold your horses, Rose. I can't just miss an important sale because of a minor bump in the head. An extremely minor bump. I've had worse when I was a kid. This is nothing. Well, there's also the part where I may lose that bonus BRC promise, but that's completely beside the point. Rose gives me a skeptical look when I return the cold compress to her and push myself off the floor. I have to use the staircase railings to steady myself, but otherwise I feel fine. Two of them exchange a worried glance, and Rose assumes a contemplative look. I bite my lower lip in anticipation if she says no. Oh. Smile threatens to slip out of me. Suddenly, a small cough sounds against the walls of the foyer, interrupting our banter. The woman is looking expectantly on the two of us, her stare making me shrink back a little on myself. She isn't really intimidating. Well, she is. But not in a scary, negative way. Far from it, actually. Her demeanor simply commands an air of sophistication and respect. In a different world, a younger me would have probably wished to be like her. At our lack of response, she coughs again, lifting a well-trimmed eyebrow at me in question. Words get caught in my throat at the sight of it, and Rose, as usual, is swift to catch my blunders. Russian? Oh, can I, look at it? Oh, the words interior design catch my eyes before my partner flips it over. Oh, probably someone interested in the mansion for its 17th century influences then. I wouldn't hold it against her, though. Despite the hearsays and remaining uninhabited for years, the mansion's original fittings and furniture have been kept completely intact and restored to pristine condition. I suppose some people find that trip to the past feeling appealing. After all, with what it offers, this place could also be a haven for people looking to live somewhere with a classic historical charm. Rose's confusion is impossible to miss when she glances at me, and I return it with an equally perplexed look. And against my better judgment, I blurt out the first question that comes to mind. I should have kept my mouth shut. A flash of irritation crosses her face, but it instantly disappears under a mask of professional detachment. She pauses, possibly trying to find the right words to fix the awkward situation without offending someone. These few moments have given me enough time to clear my head of any nervousness or confusion clouding it. I almost flinch when she turns her gaze on me, but I stand my ground. Besides, it isn't like I haven't dealt with awkward situations like this before. I may screw up at times, but that doesn't mean I haven't learned a thing or two in the 5 years I've worked in the business. She nods, seemingly in deep thought after I finish. She appears to be a responsible person anyway. Give the proper explanation, she'll certainly understand. A slight wave of her hand, she leaves us. That seems to be the end of it. Both Rose and I breathe a sigh of relief. Disaster averted. I also don't miss the thumbs up she gives for me doing a good job, but I can't help swell with pride. Still, I've already prepared myself to dial the number to our Luxborn office and check, even if she didn't ask for it. I'll be very frustrated if for some reason something has already been decided without Minor Rose's knowledge. That is a whole new level of unfair. We've been working hard on this. Moments later, Miss McCullough returns, looking a little frustrated, but with an apology clear in her face. Feel a little sorry for her having to go through all this trouble. She sounds Russian. So we have a British person, a Russian person, and my American ass. So I don't understand what the fuck's going on. Rose takes a glance at her wristwatch before tossing me a set of keys. Two of them disappear behind the parlor's door. Their departure brings with it a stillness to keep me company, neither welcoming nor comforting. Alone, like this, it's impossible not to think of what really happened. I wish the memory isn't as elusive as it normally is. Then again, Rose already said she didn't receive any call from me. Was it just paranoia? A temporary lapse after hearing all those tales of this place? Probably. I want to think of it as such. Better to think of it as such, so I can work in peace. Except a small part of my mind begs to differ. If I'm going to be this completely honest with myself, I want nothing more to leave this place as soon as possible. I don't know what's in this house, and I don't want to know. There's so much fucking reading. I wish I could just say it out loud. The keys Rose have handed me dig into my palm, its jagged edges creating shallow ridges on my skin from how hard I'm clutching it. It's a reminder of what I still need to do and why I've taken this job in the first place. Hugging my blazer close to my body, I exit the house to get what Rose has asked of me. Just a few more hours, Isabella. Sell the house, get the money. Oh, fuck off. That was fucking creepy. A flock of people have already gathered in the mansion's front yard by the time we officially open the doors. I'm not sure whether I should feel baffled or underdressed standing in their presence. Men and women of wealth and status, all dressed to the nines in fancy suits and lovely dresses of varying colors, composed the medium-sized crowd. Their necks, arms, and fingers are adorned with silver and gold, glinting in the afternoon sun. Some have even ridiculously fancy feathered hats on their heads. I really hope there aren't any magpies living nearby like in the stories. Those birds will have a field day in this. They are murmuring among themselves, looking at the estate's facade appraisingly, with some arguing about whose mansion has the superior architecture. But most of it stops as Rose calls for their attention. They don't look too pleased at being ordered around, but what can they do about it? Hearing this, a few wander to me. Those are mostly old ladies who seem daunted. They are mostly old ladies who seem daunted at the idea of climbing all those stairs. Miss McCullough also joins our group, but what really catches my eye is the elegantly dressed pair she approaches. They must be the clients she was talking about. I might have seen their faces somewhere before. Some magazine or the television? I can't quite remember. But then again, most of our guests will have likely ended up on the news one way or another. I won't be surprised if these two already have. For people who are popular, though, they aren't dressed as loudly as the others. In their simplicity, the couple stands out. The woman in particular is stunning enough to turn the heads of most people in my group, especially the men with wandering eyes. The guy just standing beside her doesn't seem to mind, though. And if I'm going to be a bit bolder with my assumption, I'd say he's basking in the attention. Both of them, in fact. I'd think they're brother and sister if it wasn't for their public display of affection. The matching rings on their fingers just cement the fact they are indeed a couple. My only sunshine. Wow, that's cringy. Whatever. Couple or not, what's important is we get this deal closed before the current owners can even think of canceling the listing. I just hope one of the people in my Rosa's group is brave and generous enough to buy this mansion. And so, with papers in hand, I lead the way. Back we go. When they aren't whispering among themselves or going ooh and ah over one thing and another, they ask questions. From how the restoration process went to the history of the place, I answer them all. More happy to talk about the art pieces and architecture mostly. Wait a minute. Those people in the back look like the couple. Like those two people? Sketch. Alright, however, I'm careful not to mention anything about the urban legend. Not a good material for sales talk, even if the entire population of Luxmore knows about it. By the time I've stopped talking, her attention is already elsewhere. The rest of their conversation gets lost in the chatter of our companions. I don't want to make any assumptions yet, but their sheer interest is enough to give me some semblance of hope. Oh, please, please let these guys be the one. Eventually, our group reaches the kitchen. Oh, that's downstairs. That's a basement. That's creepy. I don't want to go down there. Much like the rest of the house, a great deal of effort has been put into retaining the room's classical appeal. The open, the open hearth at the end of the room, in particular, looks amazing like the ones I've seen in fairy tale books. And mad props to the cleaning crew. Seriously, after overhearing hundreds of their complaints about the soot and tar and staining the bricks and how much of a pain in the arse cleaning this will be, they still managed to pull this off. Or make it look presentable, at least. Oh, fuck. This is the first time the guy in gray speaks up. Mr. Luke Wright. My memory supplies from the forms they signed earlier. His sudden attentiveness catches me off guard since the start of the tour, only his wife has shown any form of genuine interest in the place. But this time, something lights up in his eyes at the mention of the Undercroft. What's so interesting about a basement? I don't understand rich people sometimes. Right now, he gives me the impression of a child who has seen what he absolutely wants for Christmas. I've always found it cute whenever I see children act that way, my younger siblings especially. On a grown man, it's almost funny. And this isn't big enough? There's a contemplative look on Mr. Wright's face, but he doesn't say anything further. However, his wife, however, seems really pleased that he has started to show interest, if only a little. I smile to myself. I may not completely understand how these people's minds work, but I sure as hell know how to spot a buyer with sincere interest. Score! I can't wait to tell Rose. The rest of the tour goes by without a hitch. After more than half an hour, we're able to cover almost every room in the ground floor and are heading to the parlor. Funny, the first time RBC had us surveyed the property, I kept complaining to Rose about how big it is. Now I can't even bring myself to care, no matter how much my feet hurt. Maybe this is just my excitement over a possible sale. When we reach the parlor, however, an odd feeling washes over me. It starts off as small goosebumps on my skin, a feeling of being watched intently. Whispers in my ears and shadows dancing, lurking in the corner of my vision. Dark silhouettes that are gone when I turn to look. A chill settles down my spine, making me feel sick, and I start to break out in a cold sweat. I I can't do this. I need to sit down for a moment. The old ladies in the group have been requesting for a break anyway. If I can just let them sit while I retreat to a quiet corner to recover. It's not what you think. Don't think about it. It's not what you think. I've probably just caught Becca's cold. Don't think about it. I'm left alone for a good while, the same words spilling out of my lips in a silent prayer, till a hand taps my shoulder. My brain completely stops. The sick feeling plaguing me is suddenly gone, replaced by utter bewilderment. Is this a joke? She looks at me expectantly as I struggle to come up with an answer. She stops me from speaking any further and puts a hand on my shoulder. For a moment, with her tight smile, she looks as if she has tasted a particularly sour lemon. I'm still not feeling well, but really, what's wrong with cats? More importantly, why is she talking about moving in already? Try not to wince when her nails dig into my shoulder. I can't help but send an imploring look at Miss Kalau, who only gives me an apologetic smile and a shrug. She wastes no time in taking the papers from my hand and shuffles through the bunch. Oh man, Rose is going to be so angry at me for letting her do that. What a bitch. Oh shit. A look of confusion and disgust appears on her face. Turning to her husband, he merely shrugs in reply. What a dick. It's my turn to be puzzled. What do they mean? Rose and I double checked everything. Are the papers I handed not enough? I want to ask what I did wrong. I don't want to mess this up. With the way Ma'am Hannah's leading the conversation, I'm afraid that's exactly what will happen if I do interrupt her. When I hear the rest of what she says after that, I can look down at the paper, at the letter in my hands. The sides crinkle in my grip and my breathing grows labored. Dread quickly fills my mind. I didn't even notice when Rose's group joined us in the parlor. I want nothing more to say that no, I'm not alright. I want to leave this place because I can remember everything as clear as day. The letter and that woman in the attic. It's real. Careless. I've been so careless. How do I even tell them that without looking like I've gone mad? Should I even tell them? I'm gonna show it to her. I blurted out before I could even think twice about what I'm going to say. Rose cast a nervous glance at the people in the room. More still engaged in conversation with those peers, but those curious enough to turn their heads in her group's direction had been given her trademark saleswoman smile. A tight expression on her face when she pulls me aside. 23 minutes. This is long enough. Oh shit, my phone just vibrated. Oh, god damn it. I'll be right back, guys. Well, I'm ending the video anyway. Like, subscribe, comment down below. I'll see you guys in the next one.